I don't know what the answer is either, but I'm so glad that Ms. Medina is back in here to hear what I have to say. My partial answer is at least the same as I understand her answer is. And that is that in the center console of my pickup, there is a 40mm automatic pistol. Semi-automatic, excuse me if there's any spies.
That's a set.
And I'll vote for concealed carry on campus, West Virginia. That makes me different than at least one person up here. I'm proud of my A rating from the NRA. Another one of those lobby groups I think is pretty cool that gave me an A. I'm very proud of that rating. I'll vote for employees' rights to carry their firearm in their car at their employer's parking lot, because I think that's important. And I think this is the stupidity of the federal government. Can you imagine that we prohibited those fighting men and women from packing on base? Boy, that worked out great, didn't it? Somebody needs to, one thing we can do at the legislature, it doesn't have any legal force, we can pass something called a concurrent resolution that says, we're at the sovereign state of Texas, you're our boss at the federal level, we understand that, but you got bases in our state. We would ask that you respect those people's right to carry on base. Would that be symbolic? Probably. Would it be important? Hell yeah, it's important. You gotta start somewhere. And I think that's somewhere we gotta start. Delvin's right, we can't legislate out craziness, but we can help more people be in a situation where they can contain it when it happens.
I'm the other A-rated, just so there's no... I'm not packing it now because I didn't know if Brad had one. Yeah.
Hello, thank you for coming. If a train was compared to an 18-wheeler in miles per gallon, it did over 400 miles per gallon. High-speed rail, what can we do about it? The energy cost to get from Lubbock to Dallas would be under $10 a person. Is that ever going to happen?
I'll step out here on this one. Y'all waiting, aren't you? Honestly, I don't know if it's practical just from the cost of getting it up to speed. If there was a funding mechanism where private wanted to venture out in that, I'm not for state or federal money doing that because Amtrak's been such a smashing success. I-35 corridor, they tried to push that through on a federal platform because it was, again, under the green. Here's what happens. Here's the politics of it. They had an option to run an I-35 train up and down that system over there. They were going to spend billions of dollars or whatever to get it done. The problem becomes that all the politicians had properties real close to I-35 corridor, and they began to expand that over to 50 miles out from the highway so they could all rake in lots of money on right-of-way issues. So I'm not for the rail system in general unless it can be proved that it's, one, feasible, two, it's going to make money, and it makes sense, and that it's not coming out of taxpayers' dollars today.
I think there's two issues there. Obviously, I think that you're right about freight, and one of the government's jobs is infrastructure, and I think things like intermodal, where we can take stuff off trains and put it onto trucks, that sort of thing to encourage freight, that sort of thing makes sense. As to passenger, the last thing I'm going to do, I think it's easier to talk about a state sales tax than try to get between a Texan and his vehicle. And I'm not going to do it. It doesn't work. It costs too much and does too little, quite frankly, on the high-speed rail side. And so I think there are some things we can do to encourage more freight to travel that way. That would obviously save us wear and tear on highways. Lots of savings there that would make sense. But on the passenger side, you know, Amtrak, boy, I agree. Doesn't work real good.
Of course, there's more to it than the cost of the fuel because you've got so many other factors to get into it. And until I see all those other factors, well, I'm not going to be supporting a rail. I want to know something about it. Not just because I want to see something sail through at a high speed. And if you look at those high-speed rails that have references made to the governments of those countries have paid a big price in order to put them in place. I'm not too sure of what most of those countries would prefer to have a truck burning diesel as to have a high-speed rail burning all their tax money.
We'll make this the last question for the candidate this evening. Again, we appreciate your time. I know you two guys both know me with the Young Conservatives. My primary concern at this time is what has just come up in the past couple of weeks with the State Board of Education. I know that our country was founded on Judeo-Christian principles, and the big concern for this election is whether or not those principles will remain in our textbooks or not. I want to know how you guys are going to support these principles in which our country was founded.
I'm a Christian, and I don't mind wearing that out there. It is my core. It is my standard. It is what I judge on. You bring an interesting point. We have two candidates in that race, and I do not mind endorsing candidates that I think support my value system. Randy Reeves out of Midland supports my value system. He's actually been part of ACLU issues. But let me tell you what our current Board of Education did in the last round. And they did it so sneakily, and this is why you got to be paying attention. They removed the strengths and weaknesses discussion with respect to evolution and creationism. Now, on its face, what they told everybody was, that's okay because what it does is allow the teacher to teach everything. Well, in reality, what it did is it allows the teacher to teach nothing that she chooses or he does not want to. So when they removed the strengths and weaknesses, where it was in there prior to this last session, and here's the deal, guys. As Texas goes in school books, so does the country. We're one of the biggest providers and buyers of textbooks. So what we do down here matters across the board. So I'll give you as an example, that distresses me a lot because when they removed the opportunity to force a teacher to teach strengths and weaknesses of all sides, they've given that school district, and guess what? Path of least resistance. They have least resistance of not teaching creationism than they will if they don't teach it. So they removed the barrier or the barometer to make them teach both under the guise that it's going to allow them to teach anything. Well, they're not going to teach anything now. So that was it. But my Judeo-Christian values is based on the fact that our Constitution at the federal level is built on it. It's undeniable. It is what works, and it's what we're getting away from, and that's why we've got the problems today. You know, I believe the good Lord blessed us, but I don't think He's got the patience to continue to do that if we continue to turn with Him. That's my first and foremost priority, is to be back to where we started from, because it works, not because I'm some right-wing nut. It just works. It makes sense, guys, and that's why when we stray from it, it hurts, because I know what we're doing is we're leaving our kids and our grandkids a legacy of things we never, I mean, they won't know what we had. And it's our responsibility to put that back in place. And I'm unashamedly, I'll say that till I am long, but that will be one of my standards I use to do legislation. Somebody did ask me, how are you going to handle the tough stuff? You're going to get all these big problems and all these major issues, and how do you fix those? And I said, I'll tell you what. I know that I'll be surrounded by smart people. I will solicit the lobbyists without pay for those solutions and other people for solutions. But I said, ultimately, at the end of the day, there's not a problem that I will face that's not in the Scriptures. I firmly believe that, and will stand on that as days long. It's got all the answers. So we make it hard.